Hello! Thanks for watching this video about 93. I'm gonna plug the Patreon before we get started. $2 tier gets you into the Discord, and the $5 tier gets you early access to videos. I want to give a shout out to our new $2 patron, Chris Voss. Chris is supporting Chris's. Love to see it. Thanks for the support. If you like the channel and you want to support it, click that link below and pledge. Alright, here we go. So, April 1993. The Rodney King trial gets a do-over that actually results in 2 of the cops being found guilty. Bill Nye makes his TV debut, beginning his quest to make everyone realize that science rules. Walker, Texas Ranger also hits the air for the first time ever. Roundhouse kicks for all. And the music was also alright for the most part. With the 90s kicking into high gear, this was a more accurate snapshot of what we would come to expect over, well, the next couple of years at least. And while I wouldn't call it a loaded year, there was still a handful of things that have stood the test of time and all that stuff. But this was still a pretty fun chart to go through. I found a good number of gems that I think could use more love. And yes, I've even managed to make some embarrassing choices. Wait until you see what I have at number 5. Well, enough stalling. Let's take a look at Yo, DJ, pump this party. I love me some 90s dance, and this chart here had a lot of it. I could have had a handful of dance floor bangers on this spot. Rhythm is a Dancer? That's an all-time classic, but I don't know, it's not as good as I've Got the Power. Show Me Love? Oh, that one's a bop. But it also reminds me of that awful Kid Ink and Chris Brown song from 2014. Oh, there's also this one. That would have been an interesting pick. Sounds a lot like The Shaman, and that chick's hairstyle is wild. And those are all great, but this was the one that got me. The synth in here goes insanely hard, and this chick can really wail. She is confident that she's gonna get you and that you know you're gonna be with her, so you might as well not waste your time. Although I do think the lyrics can be taken the wrong way. I'm gonna get you, yes I am? Sounds like she's a stalker, just biding her time behind the bushes saying, I'm gonna get you, like a cartoon villain. And there was another dance song from around the same time about someone who's gonna catch you, which sounds like she's literally chasing after you Pepe Le Pew style. Well, I'll say this, I can be forgiving on questionable lyrics if the song is fun. And this one's a lot of fun, especially with those standard string sounds. Not to mention the scat singing. Yo, DJ, pump this party. I mean, this lady is no scat man, but it's infectious all the same. You know, now that I think about it, I wouldn't mind hearing this coming from behind the bushes. Towards the end of 1992, there was a film that hit big screens across America. A little film called The Bodyguard. It's the one where Kevin Costner is hired to protect singing sensation Whitney Houston from a stalker. Best known for 2 things. That iconic poster of Kevin carrying Whitney, and that Whitney Houston song. You know, that song. And I Will Always Love You, a cover of an old Dolly Parton song that went on to become one of the biggest songs of all time. It's a tune that I never really liked. Memories. I mean, it's fine, but I just couldn't get into it. It's not exactly my thing. Whenever I hear it, I'm just waiting for the boom. Just waiting for that boom. Come on, where's the boom? This is a Whitney Houston power ballad. I know it's gonna go boom. Any minute now. Ah, there it is. Well, anyway, I'm more of a fan of the other song on the soundtrack. No, not that one. The other song. You know what I'm talking about. Play that shit. That's right, the cover of Chaka Khan's I'm Every Woman. Not to take anything away from the original, it's pretty good too. And the cover version doesn't sound all that different. Like, it's the same song, just with 90s production and Whitney singing it. Why would I even put this on the list at all? I don't know. Maybe because it's Whitney? I mean, yeah, she's the only difference, but she's still a big difference. Because, like Chaka, Whitney Houston is indeed every woman. So much so that she didn't even need to change anything. She can sell this on her voice alone. And while this isn't Johnny Cash covering Nine Inch Nails, it's still a great cover. Whatever Whitney Houston does, even if it's someone else's work, she does it naturally. Or more accurately, she did it naturally. Rest in power, Whitney. Erotica. Looking back, I find that era of Madonna kinda laughable. Like the Erotica album, Justify My Love, The Sex Book, that hilariously awful Body of Evidence movie. Everything she did made me want to point and laugh at how much of a pervert she was. So when I saw this, a Madonna song called Bad Girl charting on Billboard, I was expecting more of the same hilarious garbage. Although part of me was also expecting this. Don't let the name fool you like it almost did me. This isn't another song about how hot and sexy Madonna is and all the sexy sex that she sexes. It's about how she has a lot of sex and feels bad doing it. While the Erotic album might be seen as Madonna flaunting her sexuality, this song is about how her sexuality tends to eat her alive. She's not having sex just to get her kicks. She's using it to fill the void in her life, and in doing so, she ends up hurting the ones she loves. So this isn't her going, "Oh well, I'm a bad girl, please punish me." This is her going, "I'm a bad girl, and it's tearing me apart." So, you'd probably be thinking, well, why not just stop being so sexual? Sounds simple, but it isn't. Sex addiction is a hard thing to kick, just like literally any other addiction. It's the cost of living the wild life. You hurt others and then eventually your addiction kills you. As seen in the video, in which Madonna plays a promiscuous businesswoman who has a bunch of one-night stands until one of them murders her. And I gotta say, this is a million times more effective than Body of Evidence. Crazy how that works. Shit out the horrible trash to theaters and relegate the actual art to the music video. The year is 1993, and with the 80s having been dead for some time, it was time to start bringing back some of its relics. One of the biggest comebacks of the early 90s was Duran Duran, the self-titled wedding album. Sold big numbers for a band that hasn't done much since the time they made a James Bond theme. Even gave us 2 big smash hits. And with both of them on the chart that week, I probably could have picked either one, and I debated this one for a good while. Eventually I decided, screw it, I'm putting Aerosmith's Comeback on instead. And I could hear you saying, wait, this is Aerosmith's Comeback? I thought they already had their comeback in the 80s. Well, yeah, they did. But here's the thing. Before this, their last album was released in 1989. A lot has changed since then, and the kind of hard rock they were getting big with had become passé by the time they released Get a Grip in 1993. So I guess you could call this a comeback from the comeback? Just like Duran Duran, they too were entering a new era with this. One that mostly involved videos featuring Alicia Silverstone. This wasn't one of them, though. Well, anyway, the song itself. To put it simply, it rocks. This was apparently inspired by the LA riots of '92. And if there ever was a time for living on the edge, it's definitely a riot. Also, this bridge here is insanely crushing. And then it goes into the guitar solo, where Joe Perry is jamming away on his guitar as a train comes, and right as it's about to hit, he just nonchalantly walks off the track. He's just like, wow, we really did live on the edge. And then there's this part towards the end where... Bam! God, I just love it when it goes all silent and then gets back to loud. This is a perfect example of a song that lives up to its name. We're living on the edge, because what good is living on a prayer if you don't even have a prayer? Oh hey, it's the Buffalo Stance lady. Well, let's see who's trying to get fresh this time. Call yourself a family man. So, this song is about a supposed family man who fucks around on his woman, and she's chastising him for messing around and being a hypocrite. Like, who does he think he is? I like how she's calling him buddy in a snarky kind of way. Talking down to someone with a term of endearment, just nice. So, who even is this buddy she's talking to here? Huh. Never would have guessed? You put your woman out to pasture on the promises you gave her last year. Yes, this is actually about Lenny Kravitz. She's friends with Lisa Bonet, his wife at the time, and when she went on tour with him, she discovered that he would constantly cheat on Lisa with a bunch of nameless groupies, calling himself Buddy X. So she wrote this to more or less put him on blast, and sure enough, the two divorced in 1993. Did this have something to do with it? I'd like to think so. Even without the context, this still works. The message is clear. Treat your partner right or they'll turn you into a Buddy X with a capital E. And you don't want to be that, my friend. But whatever did happen to Buddy X? We will not tell you the answer after this.
Oh, no question. I go to the super deal aisle first now. There's something about that aisle. is it they say? Oh, buy big, save big. Well, everything is really big. Well, I mean, not everything, but I always save big. And you want to know what the best thing about super deals is? They're right in my giant.
Why would I refer you to Saturn of Owings Mills? They were very courteous. They knew exactly what they were talking about. I felt very comfortable with the salesperson. The other friends that I practice with, who I've referred to the Saturn of Owings Mills, came back after having purchased a brand new car. And I can't say that I was surprised, but I guess I am surprised that they went and bought the car on the spot. What can you say?
So, you want to see one embarrassing thing I put at number 5? Let's go. I talked about 90210 music on the worst list. I mentioned that 1993 was a big year for such music. The soundtrack album had a huge chart presence in 92, but especially 93. But there was this one song on the charts that I completely neglected to mention. And it was the one that was used as the ending credits theme to 90210. Alright, let's hear it. It's the right kind of love, it's the right kind of night, you're the right kind of girl. Ooh, ooh. Oh, yeah. No, I have not forgotten this one. This was an elaborate trick to get you to pay attention to my best lists. Also, I actually really like this song. Now, I did mention that I never watched 90210, and I was too young to really pay attention to pop music at the time, so how did I even know about this in the first place? Well, it was featured on this other show I was watching.
Vanilla Ice sucks. Is this one of those Levi's 501 commercials?
Yeah, Beavis and Butthead were harsh on this one. And I get it, I do, but I think now I should start trying to actually explain myself here. What can I do to make you see? Okay, you know that feeling you get when you're with your girl or guy and it's a nice night and the stars are out and everything just feels all romantic? That's the kind of feeling this brings to mind. I know that I can give you the right kind of love. And it all comes down to that hook. It's the right kind of love, the right kind of night, the right stars, the right stuff. Everything is the right kind of everything. It's the right kind of love, the right kind of night. And I don't know, I find it kind of charming. It's cute, and yeah, it does get mushy, but let me put it this way. Love is too wimpy. That Whole New World remake, too soulless. But this is just right. Got a heart that's true. Oh, except for that rap part, which is honestly kind of dorky. But then it leads into an awesome breakdown. You know it, so come on, girl, stay. So very deliciously 90s. And when he comes back in, god damn, that's just so nice. I don't know, guys. Maybe we should give Jeremy Jordan a second look. Oh wait, he made this too, didn't he? Yeah, that song fucking sucks. Let me rephrase it. I think we should give this song a second look. Yes, it's wuss music, but wuss music isn't all bad. If they played this in a Levi's 501 commercial, I'd consider buying a pair. I put this above Aerosmith. That's the kind of bad take that I could resign on. Well, let's keep going. Story time, everyone. Gather around in the circle. I'll tell you a tale of 3 little pigs and a big, bad wolf. So, you know how I call the number 4 on my worst list the what the hell is that thing slot? Well, call this the what the hell is that thing and why does it rock slot.
Little pig left me in. By the hair of my chinny chin.
Well, the answer to both questions is, it is a metal version of the 3 Little Pigs story, which sounds kind of ridiculous, but there are a few reasons why this works. One of them being the most bitchin' riffs in all of metal. Da 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 da. God damn, this bangs so hard.
Well, the first little piggy, well, he was kinda hicky.
And then there's the story itself. They didn't just set the original story to music, they put their own creative take on the story, taking just the right liberties. Like, the first little piggy was a dumb hick kid trying to make it big in Hollywood.
Living on the farm, he knew nothing of the city.
And his house was made of straw because he grew up on the farm. And then the wolf comes in. And we all know what happens.
Well, I'm pumping, I'll blow your house in.
Oh yeah, he blows all right. He blows big time.
He spent most of his days just a ganja smoking.
And then the second piggy was some weed-smoking ne'er-do-well who lived in a shelter made of garbage because he just didn't give a fuck. And of course, the wolf blows that house down too. Yeah, he really does blow. That's the spirit.
Tri-level mansion, Hollywood Hills.
And the third little piggy lived in a mansion on his own private road where the other 2 hightailed it to. And he was the spoiled brat son of a rock star.
And his daddy was the rock star, named Pig Nugent.
Yeah, he was just coasting through his life, getting everything handed to him and shit. Wolfman, blow that rich brat's house down.
Well, he hopped, and he popped.
Of course, just like in the regular story, he fails to blow down the third little piggy's house. So they decide to do something about this intruder. And who did they call?
So they called 911.
Not the cops, although that would be a really easy joke. No, they called fucking Rambo.
I'm your worst nightmare. Your ass is mine.
And that's the end of that.
Little pig left me in.
I had this on tape when I was a kid, and even 30 years later, it's still a real banger. I mean, anyone who could take the 3 Little Pigs and turn it into that, yeah, they got some balls.
And the moral of the story is that bands with no talent can easily amuse idiots with a stupid puppet show.
We have now reached the 6 out of 5 part on the best list. Going forward, any of these 3 could have easily been my number 1. So with that in mind, reaction. I mentioned the shaman earlier in the video. They were a big name in the alternative dance scene from the late 80s and early 90s. It had acts like Mars and the Happy Mondays. Well, anyway, stereo MCs were a part of that scene. Not a big part, just a part. And this one, Connected, is a bop. I know it's kind of cliche to call something a bop, but that's exactly what it sounds like. The beat literally bops. I also point out that the beat is a sample. That's a nice sample. And they just ride the sample throughout, throwing a bunch of little things on top of it to make it interesting. And then there's that hook.
But if your mind's neglected, stumble you might fall, stumble you might fall.
Make sure you're connected or stumble you might fall. Good advice.
You must be blind if you can't see.
And that's what the lyrics are about. Basically, if you don't have your shit together, then everyone's gonna see through your shit and then you'll be covered in shit. I probably could have worded it better, but you get the idea.
To make sure you're connected, the writing's on the wall.
Overall, just a classic dance bop that sure keeps me connected. Remember, if your mind's neglected, you'll end up with a disconnected controller. And then you'll be fucked.
Andy Kaufman in the wrestling match. Yeah.
It's only right that a band like REM could make a song about Andy Kaufman. I mean, they are weird, just like he was.
Let's play Twister, let's play Risk.
Well, to put it simple, it's Michael Stipe's tribute to the late comedian. I'm not going to get into the details because, well, Andy Kaufman was a very complicated guy. He was a troll, plain and simple.
If you believe they put a man on the moon.
Like that hook, questioning if you believe they put a man on the moon. Like all those conspiracy theories about how the moon landing was fake. And how does it relate to Andy and his shtick?
If you believe there's nothing up their sleeve, then nothing is cool.
Because he was well known for faking everything he could. But if you let yourself believe it, then eventually you'll get it. And it's cool. But if you don't, well then, nothing is cool.
Newton got mean by the apple.
And then there's all the stories that go against logic. Moses, Newton, evolution. Spock would say that's most illogical, but sometimes illogical is most logical. In a weird way.
Here's a truck stop instead of St. Peter.
Oh, and then there's the thing about how Andy Kaufman may or may not have faked his death. It's logical to think he really did die, but knowing how he was, it's also logical to think that he didn't die and he's still among us. Why, I myself might be Andy Kaufman in disguise. No, I couldn't be Andy Kaufman. That man had talent.
If you believe they put a man on the moon.
And of course, I can't mention Man on the Moon the song without mentioning Man on the Moon the movie. And of course, the movie's soundtrack single, The Great Beyond, which I already had on a Best of 2000 list.
Andy, are you goofing on Elvis? Hey, baby.
And as I mentioned there, this is the jovial Andy Kaufman who goofed on Elvis and went wrestling. The man who played clever tricks on us all. Right up until his death, which may or may not be a trick.
If you believe there's nothing up his sleeve, nothing is cool.
But now here are some things that are definitely not tricks. Yeah, this could have been on the list, probably. I like the lyrical theme about how falling in love with your friend is just not a good thing to do. But here's what kept it off. That, whatever the hell that was. It's not irritating, it's only merely a nuisance. I'll give them credit, they dealt with the changing times better than I thought. Well, at least up until that Crown Royal album.
But I'm cool like that. I'm cool like that. I'm cool like that. I'm cool like that.
They really are cool like that. Also, that album Reachin' is a very solid album and I highly recommend it.
If you want to call me baby, just go ahead now.
Oh, the Spin Doctors. We had such high hopes for you, only for you to turn it upside down. If you want to tank your careers, just go ahead now.
And I won't break, and I won't bend.
I never really liked much 90s Elton, but this is pretty good. Sounds like it could have been a deep cut from that Too Low for Zero album, which, you know, it's not a bad thing. I know, but I'll say this. At least he was honest about his upbringing, unlike a certain other white rapper from the early 90s. As far as karaoke songs go, I do like a challenge. If I'm a, say daddy messed on me, I go blame. A licky boom boom down, detective man said daddy snub me, and it's no licky boom down. Well, I guess I tanked that one. If this were a real karaoke night, I would have been dead. I liked SWV's I'm So Into You as well, but this one has more going on with the percussion. This doesn't count. Great song, but it's also a 1986 song. Also, Ninja Turtles 3 isn't exactly the first thing that comes to mind when I hear this. Just saying. The queen of drag herself. She did her thing on the runway and opened the door for trans visibility. Oh yeah, we say trans rights on this channel. And if you don't agree, get the fuck out. But if being fabulous isn't your thing, well, here's Boy George's theme song from the movie where the guy hooks up with a dick girl. You know, he of all people should be a little less backhanded about trans rights, though. I will not leave my pronouns at the door. My pronouns go with me. Deal with it.
I'm easy like Sunday morning.
This song is pretty funny. You'd expect it to be like this weird, ironic cover, but they actually played it straight, and it's quite a pleasant surprise. Maybe not to anyone expecting them to play War Pigs, but I gotta say, doing something like this takes a lot of balls. Ew. Also, replacing the second verse with a guitar solo, chef's kiss moment.
I ain't never seen a cowboy look that good in jeans.
Dolly Parton leading a gaggle of other female country singers and fawning over the achy breaky heart guy. It's just so cute in every way imaginable.
So standing high and stepping low.
And Billy Ray is just going with it, soaking it all in. You just know one of these girls is gonna birth Hannah Montana in a few months.
Romeo, Romeo.
Wait, Hannah Montana was born in 92, was she? Oh, whatever, it's a joke. Don't take it seriously. Anyway, let's get to the top of that best list.
I live in top of hip hop. This is hip hop of the day. I give props to hip hop. So hip hop hooray. Ho, hey, ho, hey, ho.
I'm about to do something that, trust me, is going to be just as painful for me as it is for you. But this is my channel. I do what I want, so here goes. Nothing But a G Thing is not going on the list.
It's like this and like that and like this and it's like that.
Not saying I don't like it. I do. Quite a lot. I recognize it as one of the greatest old school hip hop classics of all time, and it deserves that title and then some. I mean, it opened up the door for West Coast G-Funk. But I don't know. As much as I like that song, I don't even think it's the best song on The Chronic.
I'm rolling in my 6-4. What all the niggas saying?
Only because The Chronic was such a loaded album. So many bangers. There's a reason it constantly shows up near the top of greatest albums of all time lists. Even the album tracks still hold up. But there's a bigger reason why Nothing But a G Thing isn't going on the list. It's because there was also this other G-Funk classic that I just had to put at number one. On this particular day, I did not have to put my AK-47 to use. Therefore, I must conclude that this day has been beneficial.
Just waking up in the morning, gotta thank God. I don't know, but today seems kinda odd.
That's right, I went with the one where Ice Cube has a good day. I mean, I like stories.
Get me on the court and I'm troubled. Last week fucked around and got a triple-double.
Now, I'm not going to get into the details because this has been talked about to death. There are even articles pointing out the exact date Ice Cube was probably rapping about. What I am gonna say is, this feels like the ultimate good day.
I picked up the cash flow. Then we played goals, and I'm yelling domino.
Like, you know how there are some days where everything just goes exactly the way you want it to?
Had to stop at a red light, looking in my mirror, not a jacker in sight.
That's what this is. Ice Cube just goes out and lives his life, and things just keep working out just nicely. All to the beat of that Isley Brothers track. Which absolutely slaps. This is the real G-Funk shit right here.
I can't believe today was a good day.
And his story behind the story is pretty good too. He talked some about how we just had the LA riots and gangsters are always being tough, but what about the good days? Gangsters have good days too, you know?
No helicopter looking for a murder. 2 in the morning, got the fat burger.
Well, I'll say this, I may not have his upbringing or his experiences. My idea of a good day may not be the same as his idea of a good day. We don't even have a fat burger in Maryland. We used to, at one point.
Today I didn't even have to use my AK. I gotta say it was a good day.
But whenever I have a good day all around and I'm getting home just thinking about all the fun things I did, all the things I accomplished, it is this song that really plays in my mind throughout. And that's why I chose this for the list. Because having a good day is the real G thing.
Hey, wait a minute, Pooh. Stop this shit. What the fuck I'm thinking about? Bring back all